For this week's video, we came all the way to Paris. Today we're going to take a grand tour of Walt Disney Studios, the sister park to Disneyland Paris. Let's go do it. Hi-ho everybody, this is Rob with Ear Scouts coming to you from Disneyland Paris. Today we're going to give you the ultimate tour of Walt Disney Studios. While Disneyland Paris is a massive park and has a ton of stuff to do, this park is still kind of in a state of becoming. They're adding a new land related to Frozen. It's the world of Arendelle. That should be open in 2024, maybe 2025. But for right now, this is still a relatively small park, especially compared to the one that's next door. This video is going to be a little bit different than the ones we normally do because Disney's rules about filming are different here. The culture is also different here, so we wanted to respect those rules and the culture. We're obviously not going to be filming on any of the rides that Disney asks us not to. We're also not going to be able to film in some of the shows. But don't worry, we're still going to give you guys an amazing day in this park. Let's go do it. Aside from the Walt Disney Studios store and your usual guest services amenities, there's really not a lot to do in the front lot. Stepping through the doors of Disney Studio 1 is where the fun really starts. Well, it's really just kind of an indoor mall. The theming is really cool. There's lots of shops and restaurants, and the whole thing feels like you're in a movie studio. Once you come out of Studio 1, you're in Production Courtyard. This is where you're going to find a lot of the shows, some food options, and one of the best rides in the park, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
Au-delà, c'est une autre dimension. Une dimension sonore. Une dimension visuelle. Une dimension de l'esprit. Vous pénétrez dans le domaine de l'ombre et de la matière, des objets et des idées. Vous venez d'entrer dans la 4e dimension.
This version is a lot like the one in Anaheim with scenes that come between the drops, but this version keeps the original Twilight Zone theming intact and adds an adorably creepy new character into the mix. Another cool thing you'll find in Production Courtyard are food booths that are similar to the ones you find in Epcot during festival times, but these are actually available all year round and they feature flavors from around the world. Unfortunately, we lost a whole day in Paris due to a nightmare of flight delays. Thank you, American Airlines. So we did not have a chance to see a lot of the smaller shows in this area, but we did get to see the one big one, and we will show you that a little later in this video. Our next stop is a tiny little land called Toon Studio, but even though it is tiny, it has one of the biggest shows in all of Disneyland Paris, Mickey and the Magician. We weren't allowed to film in this one, but you can actually see the whole show on Disneyland Paris's YouTube page. It's kind of like a castle stage show where Mickey encounters lots of Disney friends and their choreographed dance numbers, but it also features top-notch production values and stunning special effects. This one is not included with Premier Access, which is their much pricier version of Genie Plus. We'll talk about that in another video soon, but you can get a seat in advance if you want to pay for it. Prices ranged from $12 to $18 per person when we were there, but you could also just wait in line, which is what we did. Be sure you're there about 45 minutes before showtime and maybe even earlier on super busy days. This land also features a flying carpets attraction, although in this version, you're on an Agrabah movie set and the genie is the director. Let's go take a spin. Next is the largest of the lands in Walt Disney Studios, the Worlds of Pixar. Here you're going to find a small Toy Story area, a section themed to Remy, and then there's two separate Cars themed attractions that are kind of on either end. But the very first ride you're going to come to in this land, and it is definitely the most popular, is Crush's Coaster. Unfortunately, they don't let you film on this one, but it is a super fun, family-friendly coaster themed to Finding Nemo. The ride vehicle is free spinning, which makes it extra fun. There's one really good thrill right out of the gate, but the rest of the ride is actually pretty tame. So if your kids love Slinky Dog Dash, they're probably gonna love this one too. And speaking of Slinky Dog, let's go check out the Toy Story Playland. As you can tell, Toy Story Playland is a lot smaller than its counterpart in Hollywood Studios, and the attractions are kind of more like what you might find at a state fair, just with a fun Pixar spin. If you've ever looked at the parking trams at Disney World and thought, you know, this should be its own ride, well, my friend, I have an attraction for you. Cars Road Trip is actually a re-theme of their old studio tram tour that closed back in 2020. Let's go catch a tram and take a ride.
I'm ready to meet it, read it, and repeat it. Oh, là, cruise sur la route 66. This canyon is so beautiful and calm. Seulement en apparence. Wow!
Rien pour un bon vieux lavage neuf doit aller à l'ancienne. Un bon bain chaud. Attention.
That was incredible!
Quel plaisir de vous présenter ma dernière création, la tour à Fuse.
If you're getting a little hungry, our next stop is full of delicious French cuisine, including the most popular restaurant in either of the parks, Bistrot Chez Rémy. This is a really hard table to snag, so if you don't book it way in advance, you might want to just keep checking the app, and with any luck, you'll be able to find a last-minute reservation like we did. The food is good, not great, but it's good. It's actually a pretty decent value compared to the signature restaurants you'll find in Disney World. We went with the Emile menu, which included appetizers, entrees, desserts, and a wine pairing with each course. The whole thing was 75 euros per person. That works out to be about $80 each at the current exchange rate. While the food is fine, the real star of the show here is the theming. You feel like you're actually dining in that last scene of Remy's Ratatouille adventure, and you're gonna find adorable details everywhere you look. Speaking of that ride, if you've ridden Remy's Ratatouille adventure in Epcot, you'll have a hard time finding much of a difference in this original version of that attraction. Let's go hop aboard a rat and check it out. If you're not in the mood for a really big meal like you would have gotten at Bistrot Chez Rémy, there are actually more of those festival style booths here in the Rémy area, but here they're all themed to specialties from the various regions of France. We really loved snacking around these booths, especially sampling some of the delicious French wines. Until the Kingdom of Arendelle is complete, you're gonna have to walk all the way back to the other end of the park to find Avengers Campus. Like its counterpart in Anaheim, there are lots of characters to meet, but this version has one major addition: Avengers Assemble Flight Force. Unfortunately, we can't show you the ride because we weren't allowed to film on it, but it's basically a re-theme of their version of Rock and Roller Coaster. It's really fun though because they used video walls to re-theme the attraction, and you can totally see the Imagineers playing with the things and concepts that they were going to use to build Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot.
Comment ça va? Je suis Peter Parker. Ici chez Web, on a accès. Ça nous permet de développer des trucs incroyables, comme
Web Slingers is pretty much exactly like the version you'll find in California Adventure, and there are also a lot of the same shows that appear in that park as well. But probably the coolest Avengers themed attraction isn't even in Avengers Campus at all. For that, we're gonna head back into Production Courtyard.
And now it is time for the nighttime spectacular here at Walt Disney Studios, Avengers Power the Night. We're gonna leave you guys with some footage of this last show, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and then ring that bell. That way you'll be notified whenever new videos like this come out. Until next time, don't forget to think happy thoughts, everybody. We'll see you again real soon. Now let's go watch Avengers Power the Night.
Salut tout le monde, je parie que j'ai l'air super cool. Attendez pour les photos. C'est celui-là au meilleur profil.